Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Money Method. In today's episode, we will go into cash futures arbitrage, both the long and the short sides of it. So in this episode, we will learn what is cash futures arbitrage. We'll also go through some examples of the short end of the arbitrage. We'll also give you guidance on how you can spot these arbitrage opportunities. And for the short end, there is some specific know-how required. So we will also discuss how you can get those stocks for the shorting. So the textbook definition of arbitrage is basically this. You buy in a place where something is cheaper and you sell it in another market where it is quoting at a higher price, and you pocket the difference. So let's say you see a stock is quoting lower in the cash market and higher in the futures market. You buy in the cash market and you sell in the futures market. You can do the same thing in the reverse. So let's look at an example. So let's say a stock is quoting 100 rupees in the cash market and 110 rupees in the futures market. You buy the stock from the cash market and you sell it in the futures market, and you can pocket this 10 rupees difference as your arbitrage profit. Just like that example, we can do the inverse. Let's say where the stock is quoting at say 90 rupees in the futures market but 100 rupees in the cash market, we can buy from the futures market and sell in the cash market. So essentially the whole principle is this: you buy low and you sell high. So you may have some doubt about, hey, how can I do this, right? It is possible and very easy to buy shares from the cash market and sell in the futures market, but the other way around, right? When you're selling in the cash market, especially with futures contract, right, the contract is expiring at the end of the month, but if you're selling in the cash market, you have to do the settlement. How can you do that? Now stock market in India has this wonderful mechanism called SLBM. So it is actually stock lending and borrowing mechanism that lets you borrow these stocks, right, from the market so that you can meet the settlement obligation. So what you could do is for shorting, you can borrow the stocks from the market, short the stock on the cash market, buy the future, and later when the future price increases, you can increases and matches the shorted price, right? Or basically when they converge, you can reverse the trade. So let's take an example right here. So let's take BHEL, and it was quoting at 218 rupees per share in the futures market and 221 rupees in the cash market. So basically there was this 3 rupee difference between the cash and the future. So what you could do here is that you can sell it in the cash market because it's quoting higher, and you can buy the future. Now obviously, because you have sold in the cash market, you have to also do the settlement, so you'll also have to do the borrowing. So look at how much that works out to, right? So the difference that you can actually make is around 3 lakhs here, right, because of the difference. But obviously there are some costs involved because there are some turnover charges and all those charges. But other than that, you also have to do like a borrowing. So this can work out if there is a lender who is willing to lend you his BHEL stocks for 1 rupee for the month. So you can roughly aggregate, make like the 2 rupee difference minus the cost. So glance through this carefully, understand the costs involved, right? So you can't do this arbitrage if the cost is the cost is higher than the arbitrage difference you're making, right? So for example, if the difference between the cash and the futures market was only say 1 rupee, you would have actually made a loss in this kind of a trade. So you should be able to subvent your borrowing cost plus your transaction charges. That difference should be less than your arbitrage profit. So now you may have this question, right? So interesting. Now, how do I know, right? You have to do the math. You also have to find these opportunities, right? How do I know what are these opportunities there? So I have pasted a link in the description. Money Control is absolutely awesome in giving these opportunities out. It shows you the company, it shows you the spot price and the future price and the difference in percentage. So what I would do is look at the arbitrage opportunities from this page and go through the SLBM to look at how much is the borrowing cost and do the borrowing and the shorting in case I'm doing the short side, and the other way around, if the long side, I don't have to borrow in case I am doing the long side trade. So you do need SLBM if only in case you're doing the shorting, right? So in bear markets in the recent times, you must have noticed that the futures is trading at a discount to cash. That's when you would do the shorting side of this arbitrage. So you'll need SLBM to do that. We do have another video on this short selling topic, so that details out a bit more on borrowing the shares for shorting. I pasted the link in the description so you can recut for that video. So that's it from us today, right? So this episode, I hope you have learned something useful and profitable. Arbitrage is actually a risk-free way of making money. You're actually spotting differences in two markets and you're pocketing that difference. So it's a very good way to make money. Hope you have a profitable trade. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe to us for more such content.